Just a week after 10 people were killed in a mass shooting in Buffalo, we had another one. This time it was a elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. It's the Robb Elementary School. That is now the second deadliest mass shooting in a school since 2012's Sandy Hook massacre. And so, and you believe it, it's been 10 years. And yet, we still have not done anything. Now, that's not by accident. But let me give you more details about this. At least 19 children and 2 adults were killed, 17 injured. That's not counting the shooter, of course, who was killed by police, or specifically a special unit. And look, alongside the other police, you had Customs and Border Patrol agents that were there. Now, that gunman has been, of course, identified. And so, look, yesterday there were a lot of conflicting details that had come out. Obviously, right after a mass shooting, you're going to have a lot of different reports. Some reports said that they had taken this person alive. Other reports said no, that they did not take him alive. And there are, of course, different reports about how many people were killed. But now we have more details. And so I'm going to share them with you. Now, the shooter, of course, is identified as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos. He was a student at Uvalde High School, lived in the area, of course. He was a U.S. citizen. I think that's very important to note, because already you've had Republicans come out and claim that this is an immigration issue. U.S. citizen. No, this doesn't have anything to do with illegal immigration. But anyway, he apparently, according to some of the profile that was put together, very, very few friends, some home troubles, I think a part-time job at Wendy's, lived with his grandma, no, girlfriends, but a very, very big love of guns. Loves some guns. And his Instagram, of course, before it was taken down, showed that love of guns. Now, in fact, on his 18th birthday, he went and bought 2 guns. That was actually literally the first thing that he did, was buy 2 AR-15s. You know why? It's because Texas allowed him to do so. I'll get to those details later. Now, an Instagram from Ramos did say the teenager had sent him a photo showing receipts for a gun that he bought from Daniel Defense, a gun manufacturer, reported the Daily Dot. And an Instagram account identified by news outlets as belonging to Ramos showed him posing with what appears to be a semi-automatic weapon. A former classmate also said that Ramos texted him photos of a firearm and a bag full of ammunition just days before the attack. Other posts on social media, of course, have him saying, just prior to the attack, I'm going to go attack an elementary school. So now, look, this kid had some issues, some serious problems, anger issues, used to get into fights all the time, had done some self-harm, apparently telling somebody that it was fun to use knives on his own face. So, again, incredibly disturbed person. Incredibly disturbed person. So now on Tuesday morning, authorities say that Ramos had shot his grandmother and then drove a car, crashed it near Robb Elementary School. Police pursued him as he ran into the school. He was wearing a tactical style vest, carrying that rifle. However, he was wearing this vest, but it didn't actually have ballistic plating inside of it. However, these police officers apparently did not engage in this. And so, or at least did not, they didn't necessarily go after him the way that I think a lot of people should. There's a lot of criticism lobbed towards police officers in that they had actually ended up waiting until he had barricaded himself into the building. Now, of course, once he got into the building, he basically shot everybody. Whoever was in his way, he mowed him down. Now, this is according to Texas DPS spokesperson Chris Olivares, saying that once he was inside the building, officers were at a disadvantage, saying, quote, "There was not sufficient manpower at the time, and their primary focus was to preserve any loss of life. They started breaking windows around the school to try to evacuate children and teachers while that was going on." Now, Customs and Border Patrol agents did arrive to the scene and joined the police who were already stationed at this school. So, look, Texas talks about hardening schools, right? That school already had an armed officer there. That armed officer chose to hide in this case. And because of that alleged body armor, which actually, again, didn't actually have body armor inside of it. So now, this situation, to me, again, it looks like somebody who was very, very disturbed, had access to guns, when very likely he shouldn't have. And now you had 21 innocent people, 19 kids around the ages of 8 to 10. Now they're dead. And 2 faculty members. It's horrifying. Now, State Senator Roland Gutierrez told CNN on Tuesday evening that that Ramos had no problem accessing those weapons. And of course, there's a reason why. The gun lobby. It is easier to get a gun in this country than it is to get, for example, what this kid needed, mental health care. To get therapy. I mean, look, I've got some numbers to back that up, by the way. According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, there are only about 8,300 practicing child psychiatrists in the United States for the more than 15 million young people who need them. And according to a U.S. News report, about 37% of the U.S. population of 122 million Americans, they were living in areas experiencing mental health professional shortages. And by the way, even if you do have mental health care in that area, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can afford them. And there's that. And of course, there's stigma against getting mental health care, especially for young people. And so now COVID, of course, made that worse, but it's always been really bad. Now, guns, of course, are very, very easy to get, especially in Texas, thanks to Governor Greg Abbott, who signed a bunch of bills making it very much easier to legally obtain weapons. In fact, one of those bills actually allows people who are 18 years or older to legally purchase long guns, including shotguns and rifles. So, yeah, that's why he was, as soon as he turned 18, was able to go into a gun shop and legally buy these weapons. As many weapons as he wants. Police had recovered 2 AR-15 style rifles from the scene at the primary school, according to the Houston Chronicle. So again, very, very easy for him to go and get these weapons and ammunition to carry out this heinous act. And it's pretty much the same story in all of these mass shootings, whether they have a political motive, such as like in Buffalo, for example, or in this case, an incredibly disturbed person that's lashing out. The thread that ties all of this together was easy access to guns. And that's it. Now, again, this has made being a school-aged child in America more dangerous than being a police officer. I'm not kidding. Turns out, according to a study, more school-aged children in the United States died from gun violence than on-duty U.S. police officers or even global military conflicts. This was in 2017. From 1999 to 2017, there were 38,942 gun deaths among 5 to 18-year-olds. Isn't that amazing? And there were far less on-duty police officers that were killed during that period of time. Now you hear people talking about, oh my God, being a police officer is such a dangerous job. It's so dangerous. Look at this. They're getting mowed down. And yet it's more dangerous just going to school in this country or going to the grocery store in this country. In fact, according to Dr. Charles Hennekins, the study's senior author and academic advisor to the medical college, and again, this is the person who, the group that did the study is the Florida Atlantic University Schmidt College of Medicine, found that, Charles Hennekins said this: "It is sobering that in 2017, there were 144 police officers who died in the line of duty, and about 1,000 active duty military throughout the world who died, whereas 2,462 school-aged children were killed by firearms." Now, that was years ago. Since 2017, do you know how much mass shootings have increased? 97%. 97%. Now, Republicans said that after Sandy Hook, Newtown, or every other mass shooting, oh, you know the problem, how we solve this problem? We need more guns. We need more guns. We need more guns in the schools. We need more guns in the streets. We need to loosen gun laws. And that's what they've done. Well, what's the result? This is simple math. You have more guns, you have more gun deaths. You have easier access to guns. You have people getting guns that shouldn't have them and then using them. Again, this is very, very simple. Even an idiot can understand this. And all the people that are arguing right now, like, oh, how dare you? How dare you say these things? You know the truth, but you're not willing to say it. That I value guns more than life, more than the lives of children. Just be honest about it. Just say it. Just say it. I value guns more than kids. Because that's what your position is, like it or not. Just be honest about it. This problem is getting worse. It's getting worse, not better. Back when there was an assault weapons ban, there were less mass shootings, period. It's not that they didn't happen. They were less likely to happen. When that expired, guess what we had? We had an increase. This isn't rocket science, it's math. For those who point out, but it's mental health, it's video games, it's violent movies. Weird how every other single country has mental health, people that are mentally ill, video games, and violent movies, and yet they're nowhere near what we have in gun deaths. You know what the difference is? It's the guns. This is very, very simple to figure out. Very simple. Now, if you're listening to this and you look at these numbers, because you know the truth, you might lie to yourself, you might lie to the people around you, but deep in your heart, you know, this is all true. These are all facts. And you think, yeah, but my guns. Well, then let's just be honest. That you believe that your right to buy as many weapons as possible is simply more important than children's lives. Just be honest. That gun manufacturer profits are more important than our nation's children. That's a fact. Because we have seen the result of that position, that thinking. You want to sugarcoat it, rationalize it all you want, but at the end of the day, you're on the side of children dying. Just be honest. Just own it.